Hello DVC Games, my name is Alex Ciani and I would like to introduce you to my game, Mushroomancer. I just actually recently purchased Inkwell. It's a great game, I'm really enjoying it, and I really thought that my game fits within your specific design philosophy between box size, complexity to that box size, and just overall flavor of the types of games you all make. So my game is a combination between a deck builder, a drafting game, and a tactical combat game. So it uses drafting mechanics where you build a deck and continuously add cards to a deck, combined with using a grid to do tactical-based combat. It combines elements of games like Dominion, Magic the Gathering, and Dungeons and Dragons into a small form factor that fits into a tiny box. So just to give you a brief history of the game, a couple of friends and myself all got together. One day we decided, let's not play board games this week, let's all design a game and bring it. So we all came forward with different ideas for board games. Everyone else kind of gave up on theirs, but I then spent the next year and a half working on mine, where I kept bringing it to different game nights, play testing it with different groups, and over the course of that year and a half, refined it to what it is today. Eventually, I did release it on Kickstarter, where it was fully funded, and I sold about 50 copies initially on Kickstarter, and then another 20 copies afterwards. So about 70 copies have been sold. I designed every aspect of Mushroomancer, including all of the art on the cards, on the game board, the box, and all of the card designs. However, I am open to working with other artists and designers to improve or change these designs. Okay, to set up a game of Mushroomancer, first thing you do is you divide out piles of 10 cards and distribute those to either 2 to 4 players. So in this case, I have it set up for 4 players. Each player is given a pile of 10 cards. They get to look through the cards in their hand, pick the one that they want to add to their deck, and then pass it to the left. They do this until all of the cards are gone. So once every player has selected their 10 cards that are going to be in their starting deck, they have to set up the game board. This is done by players are given an equal amount of these wall pieces, which they use to set up a labyrinth around the game board. So they place these different walls in ways to set up different mazes and patterns for players to navigate through when they play the game. Once this is set up, the remaining cards from the Mushroomancer deck are set up in a bank. These are the cards that players will draft from throughout the game. Once you have the 8 cards set up, you keep this deck to the side. Everyone sets their health points to 10, and you can begin the game. In Mushroomancer, there are 6 different card types. First, there are actions. You can do any number of actions on your turn as long as you have them in your hand, and they tell you an action that you can do. For example, Wisdom allows you to draw 2 cards. Reactions, the green cards, allow you to react when someone else does something. For instance, this says you can play when you are attacked, and then in response, you do what it says at the bottom. Then there are equipments. Equipments are cards that persist. They stay in front of you in between turns. So this card says you can permanently prevent 1 damage from any spell attack coming towards you. Then there are equipment. You can use these to attack other players. There's movement cards, which tell you how many spaces on the board you're allowed to move. And then there's spell cards, which is another way that allows you to attack opponents. Things like reactions, actions, movement cards, and spells are used and then put in your discard pile, while equipment and weapons remain in play. Additionally, if you look at the cards, there is symbols in the top left corner that identify what type of card it is for those who are colorblind. This is what a turn looks like in Mushroomancer. You're allowed to play any cards that you have at any time during your turn. So I'm going to start my turn and I can play my weapon and my equipment. I also have 5 movement that I'm allowed to use. I have 3 movement plus 2 movement. And I have an action that allows me to add 2 damage to any attack plus an additional 2 movement. So what I would do is I would look at what I have. I see I have 5, 6, 7 movement. So I can take my player and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that I'm within attack range of this other player, I can then use my equipment to attack them. This says it has a range of 1 to 2. I'm within 1 space of them, so I can damage them for 3 damage. Whenever I attack with this particular card, it gives me 3 additional movement. So I am allowed to then attack this player, damage blue for 3 points of damage, which you'd mark on the die, and then since I have additional movement, I can then move away afterwards with whatever additional movement I have to take cover behind a wall. Additionally, at the end of my turn, when I've completed playing all my actions, all my cards, and everything I can play in my hand, I look at the bank over here, take a card that I would like to add to my deck, and I put it in my discard pile. I then take everything I played that's not a equipment or weapon. I take all of that, I put it in my discard pile, and then I draw 5 new cards from my deck, and then I pass the turn. I believe that Mushroomancer would be a great addition to the DVC games library. I think it's a unique game. I think it does things with this particular genre that most other games have not done. And I do believe it fits well within the design philosophy at DVC games. And it will also fit in that tiny box. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk about the game. That has been a huge passion project for me and has been a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, a lot of love has gone into this. So thank you again for listening and for considering Mushroomancer.